What really happened to Taehyung during that BTS dance practice? And why did Jungkook's reaction suddenly make everyone in the room go silent? Was it simply exhaustion after hours of rehearsing, or was there something much more serious hiding behind the moments that fans never got to see? And why, after all this time, does Jungkook's version of what happened feel so emotional? The rehearsal had started like countless others. The music filled the studio. The mirrors reflected 7 familiar figures moving in synchronization. The floor carried the sound of footsteps, shoes sliding across the surface as the members repeated the same sequence again and again. It was supposed to be another demanding day of preparation, another opportunity to perfect timing, formations, expressions, and every tiny movement that audiences would later see for only a few minutes on stage. But something changed. At first, almost nobody noticed. Taehyung appeared quieter than usual. There was no dramatic announcement, no obvious warning, no moment that immediately suggested something was wrong. He simply seemed to be conserving his energy, breathing a little more heavily between repetitions and spending more time looking down whenever the music stopped. The other members were focused on the choreography. Jimin was checking the timing. RM was paying attention to the formation. J-Hope was carefully watching the movements. Suga remained focused on the rehearsal. And Jungkook, according to the fictional scenario presented in this story, was watching Taehyung. That detail would later become important, because Jungkook had seen something that the others might not have noticed. Taehyung was pushing himself. Again. The music started. The members moved together. 5 seconds. 10 seconds. 20 seconds. The choreography became faster. Taehyung continued. Then the music stopped. Everyone took a breath. But Taehyung did not immediately look up. Jungkook noticed. "Are you okay?" The question was simple. Taehyung answered with the kind of response people often give when they do not want others to worry. "I'm fine." But Jungkook did not look convinced. There was something about Taehyung's expression that felt different. The rehearsal continued. And this time, Jungkook stayed closer. Not because anyone had told him to. Not because the cameras were watching. But because he was worried. The two had spent years working together, standing beside each other on stages, traveling together, practicing together, laughing together, and experiencing the exhausting pressure that came with being members of one of the world's most recognizable music groups. Jungkook knew Taehyung's habits. He knew when Taehyung was genuinely tired. He knew when Taehyung was pretending to be fine. And according to this fictional account, that day was clearly the second one. The music started again. The choreography became intense. Taehyung performed the sequence. But halfway through, something happened. He stopped. For a brief moment, the studio seemed strangely quiet. The music was still playing, but Taehyung was no longer following the choreography. Jungkook immediately turned toward him. "Taehyung?" Taehyung tried to recover. He took a breath. He attempted to continue, but his expression had changed. Jungkook moved closer. The other members noticed the interruption. The rehearsal stopped. Nobody knew exactly what was happening. Taehyung lowered himself carefully, sitting down for a moment. Jungkook crouched beside him. "What happened?" Again, Taehyung tried to minimize the situation. "Nothing. I just need a minute." But that answer did not satisfy Jungkook. The room remained quiet. There was no dramatic confrontation. No anger. No accusation. Just concern. And that may have been the most emotional part. Because sometimes the strongest reactions are not loud. Sometimes they are the quiet moments when someone realizes that the person standing beside them is struggling and does not want to admit it. Jungkook looked at Taehyung carefully. "You don't have to keep going." Taehyung did not answer immediately. He looked toward the floor. The other members waited. Then Taehyung finally admitted that he had been feeling exhausted. Not just physically. Emotionally too. The fictional revelation in this story was not that Taehyung had suffered some mysterious accident or secret medical emergency. The deeper revelation was that he had been trying to hide how overwhelmed he felt because he did not want the rehearsal to stop because of him. That was what affected Jungkook the most. Because Jungkook understood the feeling. The pressure to keep moving. The pressure to perform. The pressure to smile. The pressure to say that everything is okay even when it is not. For performers, exhaustion is not always visible. Sometimes it appears behind a smile. Sometimes it appears in a quieter voice. Sometimes it appears when someone suddenly becomes less talkative than usual. And sometimes only the people closest to you notice. Jungkook appeared to understand that. He did not tell Taehyung to be stronger. He did not tell him to finish the rehearsal. He simply stayed beside him. That was the moment the atmosphere changed. The members were no longer thinking about choreography. They were thinking about Taehyung. The rehearsal could wait. The formation could wait. The music could wait. Taehyung mattered more. Jungkook eventually stood and offered Taehyung a hand. Taehyung accepted it. The two stood quietly for several seconds. Then Jungkook reportedly said something that became the emotional center of this fictional story. "You don't always have to pretend you're okay." Those words were simple. But Taehyung looked at him. And for a moment, the tension on his face disappeared. He smiled. Not the stage smile. Not the practice smile. Just a small, tired smile. The kind of smile someone gives when they realize they are not alone. The members eventually returned to rehearsal. But things were different. They adjusted the pace. And Jungkook remained attentive. Every time the music stopped, he checked on him. Every time Taehyung looked tired, Jungkook noticed. It was not about treating Taehyung as fragile. It was about recognizing that even the strongest people need someone to stand beside them. That distinction mattered. Because Taehyung was still capable. He was still determined. He still wanted to dance. But determination does not mean ignoring your limits. And friendship does not mean forcing someone to continue. Sometimes friendship means saying, "Stop. Take a breath. We can continue later." As the rehearsal progressed, the members slowly regained their usual energy. Jokes returned. Laughter filled the studio. Someone played the music again. Someone made a mistake in the choreography. The members laughed. The tension disappeared. But Jungkook and Taehyung shared one brief glance. It was enough. No explanation was needed. The moment had passed. Yet it had revealed something important. Behind the spectacular performances, elaborate stages, costumes, lights, and screaming crowds, BTS members were still human beings who could become exhausted, overwhelmed, and vulnerable. And in this fictional story, Jungkook's biggest revelation was not a shocking secret about Taehyung. It was a revelation about how closely he had been paying attention. He had noticed. He had cared. And he had refused to ignore it. That is what made the moment emotional. Not because something dramatic happened, but because something ordinary became meaningful. A friend noticed another friend was struggling. A friend stayed. And sometimes, that is enough. The story became even more emotional when Taehyung later explained why he had tried to hide his exhaustion. He did not want the others to worry. He did not want the rehearsal delayed. He did not want anyone to think he could not keep up. That confession revealed the pressure that performers can place upon themselves. They are expected to deliver perfection. Every movement has to be precise. Every expression has to look effortless. Every performance has to appear powerful. But what audiences rarely see is everything that happens between those performances. The hours of practice, the repeated choreography, the sore muscles, the lack of rest, the emotional pressure, the fear of making mistakes, and the constant desire not to disappoint the people around them. For Taehyung, that fictional moment represented all of those pressures at once. For Jungkook, it became a reminder that even someone as talented and experienced as Taehyung could have moments when he simply needed to breathe. The revelation also changed how Jungkook viewed the rehearsal. At first, he had been focused on getting the choreography right. Afterward, his attention became different. He still wanted the performance to be perfect. But he understood that perfection was meaningless if one of the members was struggling. The others seemed to understand the same thing. Nobody complained. Nobody rushed Taehyung. Nobody made him feel guilty. They simply adjusted. And that was perhaps the most powerful part of the story. There was no hero. There was no villain. There was simply a group of friends supporting one another. The rehearsal continued later. Taehyung eventually returned to the choreography. This time, he moved carefully. Jungkook stayed nearby. The music started. The formation came together. One movement. Then another. Then another. Taehyung completed the sequence. When the music stopped, everyone applauded. It was not because the choreography had been perfect. It was because Taehyung had listened to his body and returned when he was ready. Jungkook smiled. Taehyung smiled back. And the rehearsal continued. But there was still one question. Why did Jungkook wait so long before revealing what had really happened? In this fictional narrative, the answer was simple. He did not want people to misunderstand Taehyung. He did not want fans to turn a moment of exhaustion into unnecessary fear. He did not want the story to become bigger than the person involved. Instead, he wanted people to understand the human side of the situation. Taehyung had not failed. He had not been weak. He had simply reached a moment when his body and mind needed a pause. And Jungkook had recognized it. That was the real story. The emotional twist was not that Taehyung had hidden some shocking secret. The twist was that the person who appeared strongest in the room was quietly struggling, while the person standing beside him noticed before anyone else. And perhaps that is why the fictional exchange between Jungkook and Taehyung feels so powerful. Because it reflects something many people understand. Sometimes we say, "I'm fine," when we are not. Sometimes we continue working because we are afraid of disappointing others. Sometimes we smile because we do not want anyone to worry. And sometimes, what we need most is one person to look at us and say, "You don't have to pretend." That was what Jungkook gave Taehyung in this imagined moment. Permission to stop. Permission to breathe. Permission to be human. As the day came to an end, the studio became quieter. The lights were still on. The floor was scattered with water bottles and towels. The music had finally stopped. The members were gathering their belongings. Taehyung remained seated for a moment. Jungkook walked past him, then stopped. "You good now?" Taehyung nodded. "Yeah." Jungkook smiled. "Good." Then he walked away. Taehyung smiled quietly. It was an ordinary exchange. But after everything that had happened, it carried a deeper meaning. The rehearsal was over. The choreography could be perfected another day. The mistakes could be corrected. The music could be played again. But the most important thing had already happened. Someone had noticed. Someone had cared. And someone had stayed. That is why the fictional story of Jungkook finally revealing what happened to Taehyung during BTS dance practice becomes less about a shocking incident and more about friendship, trust, and the quiet ways people protect each other. The public often sees celebrities through performances. They see the lights. They see the choreography. They see the smiles. They see the final result. But they rarely see the moments when those performances are being built. And those moments can be difficult. They can be exhausting. They can be emotional. They can also reveal the strongest friendships. In this fictional scenario, Jungkook and Taehyung's friendship was revealed not through a grand speech, but through a simple question. Are you okay? Sometimes the smallest question can carry the greatest meaning. The story also reminds viewers that exhaustion should never automatically be treated as weakness. Even highly trained performers have limits. Even people who appear energetic can become overwhelmed. Even people who make millions of fans smile can have difficult days. That is why compassion matters. And that is why Jungkook's reaction became the emotional center of this fictional narrative. He did not try to become a doctor. He did not attempt to diagnose Taehyung. He did not turn the situation into a spectacle. He simply recognized that his friend needed a moment. That distinction is important. Because when someone is struggling, sometimes the best thing we can do is listen, stay nearby, and encourage them to take care of themselves. The story ends without a dramatic revelation. And perhaps that is the surprise. The secret was never something sensational. It was something human. Taehyung was tired. He was pushing himself. He did not want to worry anyone. Jungkook noticed. And the members supported him. That is the story. Not a scandal. Not a confirmed medical incident. Not a hidden controversy. Just a fictional emotional narrative about friendship during a difficult rehearsal. And if there is one question viewers should take away from the story, it is this. How many times have we looked at someone we care about and accepted, "I'm fine," without asking one more time? Maybe that second question is sometimes the one that matters. Maybe friendship is not always about sharing laughter. Maybe it is also about recognizing silence. Maybe it is about noticing when someone's smile is different. Maybe it is about staying when the room becomes quiet. And maybe that is why this imagined moment between Jungkook and Taehyung feels so emotional. Because beneath the fame, the music, the performances, and the enormous audience, there are still people who need each other. The final image of the story is simple. The studio is nearly empty. The music has stopped. The members are leaving. Taehyung is standing near the mirror. Jungkook looks back once. Their eyes meet. Taehyung smiles. Jungkook smiles. No words. No cameras. No performance. Just two friends who understand what happened. And perhaps that is the biggest surprise of all. Sometimes the most powerful stories are not about what happened in front of thousands of people. They are about what happened when nobody was watching. So, what do you think? If Jungkook really noticed that Taehyung was struggling during a difficult rehearsal, would you consider that one of the strongest examples of friendship between the BTS members? Would you have reacted the same way if you were in Jungkook's position? And do you think Taehyung would have continued pushing himself if Jungkook had not stopped to ask whether he was okay? Share your thoughts in the comments. If this emotional fictional BTS story touched you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you do not miss the next story. Because sometimes the most unforgettable moments are not the ones that happen under the brightest stage lights. Sometimes they happen in a quiet dance studio, between two friends, after the music suddenly stops. And sometimes, the most important words are only 3 words long. Are you okay? That question changed the atmosphere of the room. That question made Jungkook stop. That question allowed Taehyung to breathe. And that question became the beginning of the moment everyone would remember. The music could wait. The choreography could wait. The performance could wait. For one moment, friendship came first. And in this fictional story, that was what Jungkook finally revealed. Taehyung had not simply stopped dancing. He had been trying to hide how exhausted he was. And Jungkook had noticed. He had seen through the smile. He had understood the silence. And instead of asking Taehyung to push harder, he gave him something far more valuable. A reason to stop. A reason to rest. And a reminder that he did not have to carry everything alone. That was the moment the rehearsal changed. That was the moment the story became emotional. And that was the moment Jungkook realized that sometimes being a good teammate has nothing to do with dancing perfectly. Sometimes it means knowing when to stop the music. Sometimes it means looking at someone beside you and asking the question they may be too tired to answer themselves. Are you okay? And sometimes, when the answer is finally honest, that is where real friendship begins. Disclaimer: this video and its story are created for entertainment and storytelling purposes only. The events described are fictional and should not be interpreted as confirmed or factual reports about Jungkook, Taehyung, or any BTS member. There is no intention to misrepresent, defame, or spread false information about any individual. Any dialogue, reactions, emotions, or situations presented in this story are imaginative and created solely as part of the narrative. Viewers are encouraged to distinguish fictional storytelling from verified news and official statements.